All right, let's do this before I run out of time. It is 10:50, February 4th, 2026. Let's start with some stocks and then we'll round off with gold, silver. Um, Actually, maybe we'll start. Let's be spontaneous. Let's start with the S&P, actually. Yeah, let's do that instead. So I can change my mind. S&P, notably, and most people will have overlooked this, we were actually down for the fifth day of six. So aside from Monday, it's been a difficult 5 days, and the thing about today, lower high, lower low, and look, we settled under the 10 MA for a second day, which is now resistance, and we broke a lower high, lower low. Now we didn't quite sell under the 50-day, but this isn't so great, right? I'm starting to wonder if what we're seeing here is maybe something like here, and we go down to at least red gap, which is 67.20. The problem is if we get down to red gap and we take out that low, 67.89, that's a problem. And of course, if we take out 67.20, then you have confirmation that we have a real problem. We have a problem here. We'll skip over the VIX. I mean, what is it to say about the VIX today? I mean, VIX hit 21s briefly. Candles spiky from the 20 again 20 threshold. It's usually where VIX gets stuck. It's just historically how it's been. But again, in the VIX, we put in a high, 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 and high low. That's not so great for Thursday. On the only counter today is the fact that the transports is 3 days. Powerful move, very powerful move. Probably the best 3 day run in the Nasdaq for like over a year. Well, I guess maybe. But anyway, powerful run, new historic high. So the transports is strong. Let's go through some individual ones. Starting with Apple, which look at that, 2.6%. I mean, that's holding up well. And look at it, it's come off from RSI, what, 20? We're already up to 68. And it's not entirely surprising. It's bullish. Nothing bearish there, right? Archer Aviation down 3.5%. Main market weakness. Agnico Eagle Mines. I mean, it was up 0.5%, but look, that's another black candle. That does lean bearish for Thursday. American Eagle, I mean, up 0.7%. Not much to say there, really. First Majestic, up 1.8%, but that's also a black candle. AMD, again, yesterday's earnings were unquestionably excellent earnings, but momentum turned negative today. It's been weakening for like, it's not like people didn't have 2 weeks notice, right? You had 2 weeks of warning, 2 weeks. Volume was high because post earnings sell off. Purple gap filled, and we've tagged red gap again. And now it's like, look, 177 is a 200-day, which and then maybe we'll fill red gap. How look, we could fill red gap by the end of next week at the current rate. And yeah, note we have a marginal double top, 267, 266. Bearish. Amazon, which of course has earnings Thursday after hours. Amazon down 2.4%, settling under the 50-day. Momentum turned negative yesterday and it's turned negative, more negative today. Volume is slightly elevated. Earnings should be fine, right? But again, I think we're going to be testing the 200-day. Could do that on Friday morning. Barrick Mining settled down 0.4%. Tuesday's black candle played out. Note the spike from the 50-day. Earnings are due Thursday after hours and will be good. So this is one to watch. If this doesn't hold the 50-day into the weekend, that's a problem. Because then you can start wondering, okay, 35, 36. And the 50-day will be 35, 36 in March. Key stock to watch. Thursday after hours earnings. Boeing. You could argue short-term structures a baby bear flag. Baba testing the 50-day. Bank of America. Some of the financials had a strong day. Bitmine. Another day of horror. I saw Bitcoin printing 71,000 after hours. Hell, maybe it's 70K now. I'll actually go check. Let's go check. New cycle low, 71,724, currently 72. But there's nothing good here, right? If you go out to a monthly chart, next support is 61,000 and then 50,000, which is below from August 2024. I think we're on track. We're now headed for 50,000 in March. In which case, this is going to come down to red gap, which was the gap in June. Caterpillar, new historic high if settling down 1.6. Kamiko got smashed with some of the other miners down 9%. Wow. Black candle for Carnival. Borderline black candle for Cleveland. Coinbase spiraling down with Bitcoin. Deckers, third day lower, but you could argue structures a bull flag. The problem is if the main market is breaking down. Disney bouncing back. 2.7. Freeport Mac ran. That's a bearish engulfing candle. Leans bearish for Thursday. Momentum is moderately negative. Google. Google's swinging around in after hours. It did print roughly 311. It did rebound to roughly 338, 39, maybe 340. This is a key stock to watch tomorrow. In theory, it should be leaning on the weaker side. Earnings were good though. There's no question about that. But momentum did turn negative today. And in theory, we're going to be leaning weak for a couple of days, at least into next, probably the weekend, maybe next week. And if it breaks the 50-day, 321, then I think 260 to 250 looks on the menu in March. And of course, if Google's 260, 250, then in theory, the main market will be down. Depot positive. Yeah, retail was pretty strong today. Little Hackler down 1.4. Intel, yesterday's black candle played out. JOBY, new cycle low. Yesterday's black candle played out, testing this threshold. If this doesn't hold, JOBY's going to hit the sevens in late February, early March. Yeah, financials were okay today, well, some of them. KKR had a spike from the 99s, which is this old red gap from last April. You could argue it's oversold, but look at the volume today. Whoa, that is big volume. That's even higher volume than the April low. That is very interesting to see that. You gotta wonder. Look, actually, in terms of cyclically, KKR had a cyclical low in March, higher divergent low there. But we're clearly on the low end. I can understand the bold buying with a stop at 99. Cree regional banks doing fine. LEU, yeah. Nuclear stocks whacked down 10%. We have a spike from a 200 day. That's interesting. Lockheed, just short-term cooling down 4%. Just a moment. Hmm. Fourth day down for Meta. I guess we could probably say this teal gap is basically filled. It's close. It's close enough to call it a fill. MP Materials just low with the rest of the miners. Microsoft trying to build a floor from orange gap. Micron had a rough day, down 9%. That's the. I will note that the historic high, that candle's bearish engulfing. So we're third day lower of 4. Daily momentum. Look, this is a problem for Thursday. In fact, this is a problem for a couple of weeks potentially. This is a bearish sell signal here. This is the first sell signal you've had really since I mean you could argue mid-December. That one didn't last very long, and we found support at the 50 day. 50 days currently 306. That's a long way down actually. That's another $73, which is so there's 20% downside here, right? Yeah, 20% downside just in that little bit there. Yeah, Micron's this is a problem. This is a major problem. Yeah, that's a problem for tomorrow. Definitely one to watch. In theory, it should be down. Netflix up 0.3%. Oh, what? Okay, didn't. It's not a black candle, but neither is it anything good, right? It's a lower high, lower low. $70 on track. Nike had a strong day, 5.5%. Momentum due to turn positive on Thursday. So there's one stock that looks positive. Nvidia, 3.5%, with the rest of the semicons, 174. Momentum actually turned negative yesterday. Again, this is important. Look, if Nvidia loses the 200-day, that's a problem. Then you can start looking for 150. After that, yeah, below. By the way, yeah, under 150, 143. You see it there and there. Low close smashed 12% with the rest of the nuclear stocks. Not great. ONDS, wow, yeah, somebody, I forget who it was, but somebody alerted me to this today. Down almost 15%. I mean, there's no reason. There's no bad news here. We're now looking at a stock that's gone from 15s to the mid nines. It's basically down 35%. And that's without any kind of main market correction. I mean, if you gotta wonder now, right? If the S&P dropped 10% to say 6,100, what is this? $5, $6, right? You think 15 down to maybe $6? Nothing wrong with this one, but the cautious will not be buying at this time. Occidental up 3% on concerns about, well, higher oil because of concerns about Trump, Iran. Pan American Silver, black candle, bearish for Thursday. Palantir down 11.6%. Black candle played out again. It's a great example, right? Black candle earnings. They sold on earnings, and now it's down. It's broken a new cycle low, 139s, soft target 125. $100 looks realistic in March. Mr. Michael Berry will be very happy. I think Michael Berry is short from somewhere probably 185, maybe 190 area. So he's doing all right. PayPal can't find a floor, down another 1.6%, printing the 39s. Terrible. Don't care about that. Red Cat dragged down with ONDS. Transocean up on higher oil. Rocket Lab smacked as well, down 10%, testing the 50-day. I mean, it's cyclically low, but SMR down almost 10% with the other nuclear stocks. Incredible to see it sustainably around here. Again, you could argue what we have here is similar to here, and then we're gonna break above $50 by late summer, maybe. Target retail stocks doing fine. Tesla down 3.8%. Yesterday's candle was black, played out 406. The valuation is ridiculous. They have annualized earnings of $2. That gives you a P of 200 of 100. Yeah, 203 actually. Momentum is marginally negative. There's nothing particularly bullish, and it's been chop for months, right? Look at this. It's just a chop fest. If a 200-day goes, then you'd be looking at 348. Take two down 5.4%. I did see a video and I highlighted it during the day. There was a guy who made a video and he was highlighting the fact of what Rockstar has done over the last 6, 7, 8 years. They basically fired all the good people, leaving and then hiring the wokester people. And it's now looking like Grand Theft Auto 6 um, is not going to be very good at all. It's not looking good, and it's interesting to see the stock breaking down. United Airlines are just cooling back. United Health, look, down another 2.9%. So orange gap is almost fully filled. Next support is 231, which looks like it'll probably be tested, maybe even broken below in March or April. UPS, look at that. 4.4%, 116s. So, background chatter. They're firing another 30,000 people this year. That's bullish for UPS earnings, right? In fact, look, momentum floored last week, turned positive today. Yeah. Look at that. Look at the buy. Look at this. Look at the buy side volume, right? Nothing for weeks. Ignore that little spike. Look, we have sustained buying here. Yeah. Exxon, new historic high. Let's we'll just jump at we'll jump to oil. So oil set in 64s, resistance 67, and then the $70 high from late July. All right, what next? So according to the stock charts, gold settled basically up $9 to 49.55. I will note that today's candle is spiky. It's not technically black, but it's close. I wouldn't be. I mean, in theory, if the main market's down on Thursday, gold will be dragged back down. Same for silver. Momentum's still increasingly negative. I will note on a weekly chart, gold looks a real mess. I mean, look at these two. Look at these two weekly candles. Crazy. 56.08. And this week we had a low of 44.04. We had, look, we're talking about $1,204. $1,204 swing from Thursday until what? Monday or Tuesday. This is not a sign of strength. This is you could argue this is an exhaustion top, but then we have a spike from this, from 45, from this high, right? I don't know. And on a cyclical basis, we're on the high end, right? I will say that so long as until momentum turns negative, which clearly isn't going to happen for at least until like late March, early April, right? Even if it rolls over here, momentum's got to stay positive for into April. Anyway, let's move on to silver, which is the more interesting one, arguably. I should start with a 60-minute instead. In fact, maybe we'll even start with a 15. Yeah. Look, silver gapped up roughly 6%. Note the first candle, black. Just like last was it Friday? No, Thursday. Last Thursday's candle was black, and we had that little washout. And I was a buy. I was a buyer there. I was buying that and selling around here. Today we had black candle. I'm not. I just didn't do anything. I wasn't interested. I mean, I certainly wasn't going to buy here anyway. But I could have been buying here 76, 75. But yeah, we had a couple of dollars upside. It was a bit of a chop fest, kind of like that. I mean, you could argue this price actions like that, and maybe we'll gap higher on Thursday. From a cyclical perspective, 15 minutes is basically marginally positive. On an hourly chart, which is what I really kind of focus on, black candle. Look at it. Look at this black candle from this price threshold. Right? I've been babbling about that since last week. Black candle. They came and sold it, and you now have a little bit of price structure like yesterday. So do we jump again? Or do we if the main market drops, silver in theory will come down and fill this gap to around 72, 71s. Now, as long as we don't go under 68s, right? I am still kind of short-term, mid-term bullish silver. But the 68s kind of need to hold. I'm a little bit twitchy about this. I still think Green Gap's probably going to get tagged, but I won't be surprised if this fails tomorrow. I mean, that is what, $7 down. That's 9%. I accept 9% a big drop. Maybe we do 4-5 tomorrow and then a bit more on Friday. But I'm inclined to see that gap fill. And also, of course, on a daily chart, look, black candle. So yesterday's black candle did play out because we did break a lower. We did initially turn red this afternoon, briefly. So this candle suggests that tomorrow will be red, at least briefly. And momentum is it's on the low end, but I don't know. Is this where we're going to do? We're going to build a giant bullish pennant and just hold above the 50-day like we did in October, November. Hmm. Starting to think about what other miscellaneous stocks have I not covered? Haven't covered Salesforce, but hey, does anyone really care about Salesforce? Um, I'll cover it. There's a few names that do come to mind I haven't looked at. OWL, which of course looks problematic. It's trying to floor though. I mean, yesterday's volume was panic selling volume, and Salesforce was up 1.6, but we have a spike floor on high volume, and on any basis, it is cyclically low, right? It could, but what I'm guessing it'll do is it'll try and bounce a little bit, but you know, put in some lower lows. But yeah, something to watch tomorrow. Google. In theory, I think it's an important stock to watch. See if it breaks for the 50-day, 321. If it loses that, then we're looking at 252, 260, 250. And that would be, of course, bearish signal for the main market. I am tired and I'm going to leave it there. I wish you a good Wednesday evening, and let's see if we get a red Thursday. Be good.